Yes, good evening, guys. So, how are you, all of you guys? So, it's long time since I am talking once again to you after a gap of about, I think, a month or so. So, good evening, Bhumika, Kiran Shukla, Darshan, Dikshita, Diksha, Sankaran, Aisha, all familiar names. And to all others who are still in the process of joining. So, students, now we are into chapter 11 of your syllabus. That's audit report. So, guys, when we had started this journey of studying this beautiful subject that is auditing from chapter 1. So, what I had told you, what was the what is the objective of an auditor? Yes, come on, guys. What is the objective of an auditor as per SA 200? What is the objective of auditor as per SA 200? Yes. So the objective of auditor as per SA 200 is to obtain a reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatements and to express an opinion. So remember, so the objective of auditor, as we had read at the beginning of start of your syllabus, it was expression of an opinion. Yes, to obtain reasonable assurance and to provide an expression of opinion. He has to opine. He has to give an opinion that whether ultimately all the exercise which he has done, he has applied the audit procedures, he has obtained the audit evidence, and he has now he is in the process of evaluating those audit evidence. He has also discussed all the matters from time to time with responsible persons in the management of the company. So ultimately now time has come for him to express an opinion, to issue his report. Okay. So this chapter number 11 deals with this aspect, with the aspect of audit report. So guys, you can very much well understand how important this chapter is, because the outcome of the audit process, the outcome of the audit exercise is finally audit report. Okay. So in this chapter, students, we shall be discussing few essays, that is essay 700, which relates to formation of opinion by an auditor and reporting requirements. Formation of opinion and reporting requirements. Okay. 701 is about key audit matters. So when it comes, we will discuss what are key audit matters. Okay. 705 relates to modification of opinion. So guys, in all these chapters, you have learned that in that auditor may have to modify his opinion. Now, what are the circumstances where an auditor would have to modify his opinion? Where he is not in a position to give a clean audit report to the company. So modification means that he is not giving a clean chit to the company. So he has some reservations, he has some qualifications to make, or he may make a adverse opinion, and like that. So 706 relates to emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. This we shall also be discussing later on. What does it mean? Okay. and 710 relates to comparative information. So is it okay, guys? You understand the broad outview of the chapter which we are going to study? That is chapter 11, audit report. So students, you have read many essays till now, beginning from essay 200. You have read about planning audit in essay 300. You have also read about how an auditor detects risk of material misstatements under essay 315. Okay, and you have also read many essays relating to substantive procedures like essay 505 relating to external confirmations. Okay, or essay 501 relating to audit evidence of certain selected items. So by performing all the audit procedures in accordance with essays, what does the auditor obtain? Tell me. Tell me, the auditor has performed all the procedures as are required in the essays, like few of these I have named to you. So what the auditor has obtained, what auditor has got during whole this process? Yes, guys, quickly tell me. What does an auditor get by performing audit procedures? Say auditor has said sent confirmation request to some debtor of the company, and he is getting response. So what is he getting? Yes, audit evidence. Yes, it is correct. Sayyid, Kiran Shukla, Himanshu, he is getting audit evidence. Now he has obtained audit evidence by performing all the audit procedures. Okay, then now the audit evidence is in hands. Now he draws conclusions from this audit evidence. What does he do? He draws some conclusions. So he audit evidence. Now he draws conclusions. Okay, on the basis of audit evidence, see whatever information he has got. So obviously he would make some specific conclusion, some specific judgment based upon that audit evidence. And after drawing conclusions, he evaluates. You understand? To assess. He assesses that what all of this which he has obtained by doing all this exercise, what effect does it have on his opinion? He evaluates it. Okay, so guys, essay 700 relates to this very aspect. Essay 700 relates to formation of opinion and reporting requirements. How does an auditor form an opinion, and what are the reporting requirements in this regard? Like what is to be included in say audit report? This is also dealt within essay 700. What is included in audit reports? What are the elements of audit report? Elements means basically you can understand contents. What are the contents of the audit report? Or what should be the contents of a standard audit report? So all these things are discussed in essay 700. Okay. So clear, guys? So one question would be arising in your mind, students, that is, what is the need for this standard? Why? My question is, why 700? Why essay 700? Tell me. You would say that auditor has performed all his procedures. He has got the audit evidence. Why can't he straight away issue a report containing his opinion? What is the use of this particular essay, which tells him what to include in a report, what not to include in a report, or how to present his report, how to what contents are to be included in report, and in what format, and in which sequence. So what is the need of this kind of reporting? Yes. Without referring to your modules, guys, tell me what any possible reason, what could be the need of this type of reporting? Why do we need a standard like SA 700? Yes, any reasonable guesses? Come on, students. By now you have already gone through 10 chapters. Your mind must have sharpened by now. Yes, Sayyid, you are saying confidentiality. No, Sayyid, that is not the proper reason. Yes, Ayesha, you are saying to give a standardization. Yes, so that there can be comparison. Yes, that's okay. Swati is saying that uniform basis. That is also okay. But confidentiality is the no reason. Uniformity of audit reports, Darshan, yes, it's okay. So one thing is that when an audit report is prepared in accordance with standards on auditing, in accordance with, now I am talking about the report itself. Audit has been conducted in accordance with 700, with in accordance with the standards on auditing. Now I am talking about the main thing, the audit report itself. Okay. So one thing is consistency and comparability. Okay. Say when an auditor issues a report in accordance with the requirements of a standard, okay, then first thing that happens is that across the industry, that report is consistent. Users of that report know that these are the heads, these are the contents which are to be included in audit report. Okay, so it also helps them to compare. So one can compare the report of uh, 1 year with another year, or within the industry report of one company with another company. So that is the advantage, consistency and comparability. Now logically another question should spring up in your minds, guys, and that is, if everything is so consistent and comparable, then if the auditor finds something wrong, okay, then what he has to do? Where is his initiative? If the audit report to be issued is so much standardized, okay, or if it is so rigid, then how can auditor um, express his opinion in an effective manner? Isn't it the next logical question? So, guys, SA 700 also provides flexibility in this respect. SA 700 also provides flexibility in this respect. Okay, so if the auditor wants to highlight some things, there is scope for highlighting him, like there is a concept of key audit matters. Okay, so where auditor can highlight some significant matters which were noticed by him during the course of his audit, and which he wants to highlight in the report, that how he addressed those matters. Okay, say for example, students, let us say that the auditors have recognized uh, that revenue recognition is one of the key audit matters in the company. Okay, because the company is getting revenue um, from entering into contracts with the customers. Okay, and say the contracts are written in very legalese language, and these could involve many interpretational issues. So whether revenue is recognized properly or not, or what how the company recognizes its revenue, and what the procedures the auditors have undertaken to see that revenues have been recognized properly. Okay, so for such things, there is a paragraph on key audit matters. So it is not that SA 700 standardized one thing, and every auditor has to follow this without having any leeway. He has the leeway to modify his opinion, keeping in view audit evidence obtained. He has the leeway uh, to state significant matters, and there are other things also which we shall be discussing in course of this chapter. Okay, so is that clear to you guys? General things. So um, what is the significance of SA 700? Okay, so guys, again I am repeating you since beginning, that if you get a overview of the chapter, if you get a understanding of the chapter, if you get understanding of the basic crux of the chapter, you would be able to grasp many things which arise from those chapters. Okay, so now let us see from your module, what does your module say? Let us see. So says SA 700 deals with the auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on the financial statements. Okay. It also deals with form and content of the auditor's report issued as a result of audit of financial statements. So SA 700 deals with two things. Not one thing, it deals with two things. One is auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on financial statements, which is his basic job. Okay. And second is it also deals with the form and content of the auditor's report issued as a result of audit of financial statements and after forming an opinion. Okay. So this is all what we have discussed. Requirements of this essay are aimed at addressing an appropriate balance between the need for consistency and comparability. Okay. In auditor reporting globally and need to increase value of auditor by making the information provided in the auditor's report more relevant to users. So this promotes consistency. So when audit reports are prepared in accordance with standardized norms, so obviously it promotes consistency. It can be compared across within the industry, across the industry, and across the nations, globally also. Okay. So but this essay recognizes the need for flexibility to accommodate particular circumstances of individual jurisdictions. Okay. And another thing is that users can help better understand if the audit report is prepared in accordance with standards on auditing, then it also goes on to enhance users' understanding. Okay, guys. So again, the objective of auditor essay as per essay 700 are two. This we have already discussed. Now, students, we had discussed that the auditor has obtained audit evidence. He has obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Now he will see whether uncorrected misstatements are material. Say after he has obtained audit evidence, say, okay, I have obtained audit evidence, for example, that rupees 5 lakhs have been wrongly charged in say machinery repair account. It should have been charged to machinery account, but these have been charged to machinery repair account. So I would obviously ask the management to correct this misstatement. While communicating with the management, I would request them to correct this misstatement. So after before issue of audit report, I would see whether some uncorrected misstatements are still there. That as an auditor I had asked to correct those misstatements, but say the management has not corrected those misstatements. So it means that uncorrected statements might be there. So whether those uncorrected misstatements are individually or in aggregate material, whether these are of material amounts. Okay. Remember materiality, guys. I think you have not forgotten. So let us also test your knowledge, guys. What was the essay number of materiality standard which deals with materiality? Anybody, without referring to your module honestly, can you tell what was the number of relevant essay which deals with materiality? Any one of you quickly, honestly? Yes, students, yes, waiting for your mails. Yes, Diksha is saying SA 320, yes, and Dikshita is also saying 320. Yes, good. So if some uncorrected misstatements are still there and these are material, either individually or in aggregate, then he makes an evaluation. Then what does the auditor make? He makes an evaluation. Evaluation means assess, to examine. Then he would finally see what is the effect of these, what effect of these uncorrected misstatements is going to be on his opinion, because it is ultimately the opinion which matters. It should not be the case that there are still uncorrected material misstatements and he wrongly evaluates and he gives an inappropriate opinion. Okay, so clear, students? So evaluation by the auditor, students, you have to remember that evaluations by the auditor also includes regarding the qualitative aspects of the entity's accounting practices, whether accounting policies, okay, uh, followed by the company are consistent from period to period, and whether appropriate accounting policies have been selected, okay, and say whether the where you know that management makes a lot of estimates and judgments while preparing financial statements, like say the management may have to make allowances for bad and doubtful debts. Okay, so these things, such things may be dependent upon the judgment of the management, or say or you can say that there can be some obsolete inventories in the overall inventories of the company, and then management may have to make an allowance for that. So what should be that allowance? What is the basis of that allowance? Okay, what is the system by which obsolete inventories have been identified, and how allowance for such inventories is going to be made? Okay, so these kind of things which require judgment on the part of management or and estimates also. So all these things are evaluated by the auditor. So the auditor would also see that whether management is only selectively correcting misstatements. Say I as an auditor, I have pointed out certain misstatements to the management. Okay, but what the management is doing, out of say 10 misstatements pointed out by me, they are correcting only 5 which are beneficial to them. Okay, say which are increasing the profit, but say 5 which have a negative effect on profits, they are not um correcting those misstatements. Okay, so this way they are only selectively correcting misstatements identified during the course of audit. So in this thing has also to be evaluated by the auditor. Okay, and possible management bias in making of accounting estimates, this I have already discussed with you. So SA 700 also details certain specific evaluations which are to be necessarily made by an auditor. These are these must be made by an auditor. So what are those specific evaluations? These are: number one, whether the financial statements adequately disclose the significant accounting policies selected and applied. Okay. So the auditor has to see whether the financial statements disclose significant accounting policies selected, that these are disclosed in the financial statements. Significant accounting policies are part of financial statements. These should be disclosed and these should be applied consistently on a period to period basis. Okay, like how, say, inventories are valued, what is the accounting policy of company in this regard, which method the company uses. Okay, so whether the same is applied consistently from one period to another period, these kind of things. Number two, the accounting policies selected and applied, these are in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. So like, say, in case of company, we are talking about Schedule 3, then these are in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, because financial statements are finally to be judged by the auditor in accordance with the requirements of reporting framework in accordance with which these financial statements have been prepared. Okay. So the accounting estimates made by management are reasonable. Like I had given you example of an allowance for obsolete inventories. Okay, whether it is reasonable, whether it is not understated so as to artificially increase the value of inventories. Okay, whether the information presented in financial statements is relevant, reliable, comparable, and understandable. So it is general. The financial statements provide adequate disclosures to enable users to understand effect of material transactions, that users are able to clearly understand what is going to be the effect of the disclosures. Okay, so financial statements clearly disclose or give information in such a manner that that users can clearly understand what are going to be the possible effects of these disclosures. Okay, and what is the whether the terminology used in financial statements is appropriate, whether the title of financial statement means, like whether it, like, say, in case of profit and loss, in case of companies, title is statement of profit and loss. Okay, so whether it is appropriate, it is in accordance with the applicable reporting framework. So yes, guys, is it clear to you? Now here at this stage, guys, we come across another 2-3 terms. So before proceeding further, let us see what are those terms, and I would also like to know whether any one of you is already familiar with those terms. So guys, one of the terms is general purpose financial statements. Financial statements, you know, but have you heard the term general purpose financial statements? Anybody? Yes. No, Bhumika, you are saying this evaluation is related to SA 501. No, it is it is to be performed in every case. It is not merely related with those assignments with those audits to SA to which SA 501 applies. So you would do well to remember that SA 501 applies when uh, previous year's financial statements were unaudited or the predecessor auditor was somebody else. Okay. Darshan, Kiran, you are saying not heard this term. So in auditing, you might not have heard, but what about your accountancy classes? In accounts, you may have heard this term. Yes, guys, anybody? Sudhanshu is saying position of the company. No, Sudhanshu. Anybody else? Yes, guys, drop your mails. Whether you know it or you don't know it, please let me know. Please let me know whether you know it or you don't know it. Yes, so general purpose financial statement, guys, are yes, Bhumika, you are near the mark. General purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared for fulfilling the needs of a wide range of users. Okay. So like we take the balance sheet of a company, we take the financial statements of company. Now it can be used, same balance sheet, same financial statements. These can be used by a variety of stakeholders. These can be used by shareholders for their own purpose. They would be interested in the profits of the company, whether the company would be able to give dividend. These can be used by the bankers. These can be used by the management. These can be used by the tax authorities. So one balance sheet, this fulfills the needs of wide range of users. It does not deal with the needs of a specific group of users. Okay, so these are known as general purpose financial statements. Clear, guys? And importantly, you have to distinguish these with special purpose financial statements. There are also special purpose financial statements. Say when financial statements can be prepared to meet the requirements of some contract. So those kind of financial statements would be relevant only between those two parties with who have entered into a contract, and these would be relevant to their use, to their needs only. But general purpose financial statements, um, these mean financial statements which are prepared to cater to the needs of wide range of users. Okay. Yes, Bhumika, I have already told you SA 501 is different. So now you understand, guys, general purpose financial statements. And so obviously general purpose financial statements are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework. In accordance with general purpose framework. So the general purpose financial statements are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework, and general purpose framework meets the needs of wide range of users. Okay. So in effect, general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which meets the financial information needs of wide range of users. Okay, so clear these two terms, general purpose financial statements and general purpose framework. General purpose financial statements are those which are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework. And general purpose framework is one which provides a structure, which provides a framework to meet the financial information needs of wide range of users. Okay, so in effect, what are general purpose financial statements which meet the uh, needs of wide, which meet the financial information needs of wide range of users? Clear, guys? So general purpose framework, yes, I have told you, Himanshu. General purpose framework again means that uh, which provides a framework, which provides a structure for reporting requirements, catering to the financial information needs of a wide variety, wide diversified users. Like I've told you, shareholders, bankers, management, tax authorities. Okay. So is it clear to you, Himanshu? Yes, Himanshu, is it clear to you? Now, it is to be general purpose financial statements are to be distinguished from special purpose financial statements, which are prepared only for the limited purpose, for limited financial information need between some parties. Okay. Okay. So now we come to another two terms. These are fair representation framework and compliance framework. So these are another two terms, fair representation framework and compliance framework. So have you heard about these terms? Yes, anybody? Have you heard these terms? No, I don't think anybody has heard. So what does a fair representation framework means? So guys, fair representation framework means, you can understand in layman's language, that it says that whatever financial statements have been prepared for achieving a fair representation, it is quite possible that they may have to go beyond the needs of reporting framework. That already says some reporting framework is prescribed by law. Okay, so but the fair, when financial statements are prepared in accordance with fair representation framework, they acknowledge that they can go beyond the requirements of the applicable reporting framework to provide a fair picture, to provide a fair overall picture of the state of affairs of the company. Okay, so when a reporting framework acknowledges these kind of things, it is called a fair representation framework. And when it does not acknowledge such things, it is called compliance framework. It means that it only complies with law. Whatever requirement is there in the law, it complies with the law. It would not go beyond that. Okay, but fair representation means that financial statements, the disclosures in the financial statements, these can go beyond beyond the requirements of the reporting framework to achieve fair representation. Okay. So now let us see what is in your module. So general purpose financial statements. Financial statements prepared in accordance with the general purpose framework. And what is general purpose framework? A financial reporting framework designed to meet the common financial information needs of a wide range of users. Clear? These both things we have already discussed. Now, the reporting framework can be a fair representation framework or compliance framework. General purpose framework, it can be a or any financial reporting framework for that matter. Even a special purpose framework can be so. It can be a fair representation framework or compliance framework. So what is fair representation framework? Fair representation framework, it meets either of these two conditions. Number one, it acknowledges explicitly or implicitly that to achieve fair representation of financial statements, it may be necessary for management to provide disclosures beyond those required by the framework. कि जो फ्रेमवर्क में जो लॉ में डिस्क्लोजर्स रिक्वायर्ड हैं उससे ज्यादा भी मैनेजमेंट दे सकती है. When the framework so acknowledges, then it is known as fair representation framework, or it acknowledges explicitly that it would be necessary for management to depart from a requirement of framework to achieve fair representation. जो भी उसमें फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क में जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट है, लेकिन मैनेजमेंट ट्रू और फेयर पिक्चर दिखाने के लिए उससे भी डिपार्ट कर सकती है, उससे भी बियॉन्ड जा सकती है. ओके, तो दोनों में से कोई भी कंडीशन होगी तो फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, और अगर कुछ नहीं होगा, सिर्फ लॉ की कंप्लायंस है, तो कंप्लायंस फ्रेमवर्क है. क्लियर गाइस? अब नाउ व्हाई वी आर स्टडीइंग दिस? We are studying this is because it is related to the language of the opinion of the auditor. Why we have studied what is fair representation framework and compliance framework? Because the language of the opinion of auditor is related to it. Okay. So guys, when the auditor say he has conducted the audit, he has performed the procedures, obtained the audit evidence, he has evaluated all the misstatements also, and whatever conclusions he had drawn on the basis of that. Okay. So when the auditor concludes that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, say in case of a company, the financial statements are prepared in accordance with Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. So when the auditor concludes that the financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, then what kind of opinion he gives? He gives unmodified opinion. He gives unmodified opinion. जिस opinion को हम कहते हैं unmodified, clean report. So in general language, you can say clean report. That say I have issued a report, I have found nothing wrong, or whatever misstatements I had found, the company had corrected those misstatements, and I ultimately conclude that the financial statements have been prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework, then I am going to express what kind of opinion? This kind of opinion is called unmodified opinion. In general language, we can also call it as a clean report. Okay. Unqualified opinion. So these kind of things are also used. Unmodified means without any modification, without any reservations. Okay, without any qualifications. Qualifications mean something is being diluted. When we qualify something, qualify means subject to. Okay, when I qualify my statement, say I say that this thing is happening, but this is subject to following conditions. So when I put those conditions, these are in the nature of qualifications. So these dilute the effect of that thing. Okay. So, but when an opinion, unmodified opinion is given, it means that the auditor has expressed the opinion that financial statements have been prepared in all material respects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. If whatever was material, in all material respects, it has been prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. Okay, so this is known as unmodified opinion. And what is modified opinion? Now let us understand it first generally. So students, auditor's opinion is of, you can say, mainly it can be categorized into two types. One is unmodified and one is modified. Unmodified, I have already told you that when he concludes on the basis of audit evidence that financial statements have been prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework in all material respects. But when does he give a modified opinion? Now, when does he give a modified opinion? Now, modified opinion. It can be given in two circumstances. Now, what are those circumstances? Number one is, say the auditor has got evidence. He has got audit evidence that financial statements are not free from material mistakes. Okay, so then he would be giving a modified opinion. Or it can so happen that he is not able to obtain any audit evidence. He is not able to obtain audit evidence to conclude that financial statements are not free from material misstatements. Then also he issues a modified opinion. Okay. So in this case, when he is not in a position to obtain audit evidence, he issues a disclaimer. He issues a disclaimer of opinion. Disclaimer means, now all these things, guys, we shall be reading in detail on Tuesday relating to modification of opinion, but here at this stage I am just touching these things. Okay, so but where he has obtained the audit evidence that financial statements are not free, he has got something in his hand to prove that there are material misstatements in the financial statements, then he gives either a qualified opinion or a adverse opinion. So we would be studying all the difference between these. What is qualified opinion? What is adverse opinion? For at this stage, you can understand that opinion is of two types: unmodified opinion, plain opinion, and modified opinion. So modified opinion can be due to the fact that the auditor has obtained some audit evidence which shows that there are material misstatements in financial statements. Okay, that the financial statements are not free from material misstatements. Or there could be a second possibility that he has not been able to obtain audit evidence to say that financial statements are free from material misstatements. Say if I have not been able to obtain audit evidence, then what kind of opinion I would be giving? I would be expressing a disclaimer. It is also a form of modified opinion. To disclaim means to say that I do not own this, that I am disclaiming my opinion, that I am not in a position to give my opinion. Because of what? Because of want of evidence. Okay. So broad outline of this thing is clear to you guys. So let us understand it with the help of an example. So guys, doubts, please send your mail. Any doubts, guys, please send your mail. So let us take a practical example. Modification of opinion. Okay. Say guys, say the balance sheet of a company shows profit before tax of say 50 lakhs. Okay. Assume that there is a debtor whose recoverable amount is 75 lakhs. It is still outstanding in the books of the company. Now it comes to knowledge of the auditor that say the debtor has become insolvent and he is not in a position to pay to the company. So what is the inference of this? The amount of rupees 75 lakhs is what it is? It is non-recoverable. So what management was supposed to do? It had to book a loss to make a provision of unrecoverable amount of 75 lakhs. Okay. So now if the management does not make a provision, say, then what would happen? If it would have made provision, the profit before tax of 50 lakhs would have turned into a loss of 25 lakhs. Clear? So, but since the management has not made the adjustment pertaining to it. So therefore, opinion needs to be modified. So the profit is turning into loss. So in this case, adverse opinion will be given, because it is changing the whole financial position of the company. Okay, clear? And say, let us take another example. Now say, say the auditor of the company, as an auditor of the company, you wanted to send say confirmation request to debtors and creditors. Say you wanted. These are the very important audit procedures to be applied by you in accordance with SA 505. Okay. And also assume, say that the management, the company refuses. They say that they are not going to provide addresses to you. They are not going to provide contact details or present addresses of these companies, of these entities. Say because we want to keep these things confidential and these may spoil our business relationship. So in respect of such an important matter which has relationship with debtors, with creditors, with sales, with purchase, you have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So in this case, you are not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So what you may do, you may like to disclaim the opinion. Okay, because in those circumstances, the material misstatements, the impact of material misstatements could be huge, and it could affect many things in the financial statement, many elements of the financial statements. Okay. So yes, guys, is it clear to you? And now Swati, you are saying what is meant by modified opinion and why modify opinion when, yes, you have already been appointed auditor of the company. You have accepted the appointment. Swati, you have done the audit. You have performed the procedures. Now you have to issue the report whether you disclaim the opinion or modify the opinion or give an unmodified opinion. You would have to do something. Is it clear to you, Swati? Yes, guys. Yes, guys. Were you able to understand with the help of these practical examples? Were you able to understand, guys? Yes, Kiran is saying it is all clear. What about others? Yes, what about others, guys? This is the one of the most important concepts in your syllabus. Is this thing clear to you, guys? Yes, all of you are saying clear. So students, I want you to assimilate it in your minds right now, so that you never forget it. That what is the difference between unmodified opinion and modified opinion, and under what circumstances modified opinion can be given. Okay, so guys, you have to remember that modified opinion can be given in two circumstances. Either the auditor has obtained audit evidence on the basis of which he is able to conclude that financial statements are not free from material misstatements, or he has not been able to obtain audit evidence either, uh, which which can show him that financial statements are free from material misstatements. Okay, so which essay deals with modification of opinion? Essay 705. Essay 705 deals with the modification of opinion. Now, in what circumstances qualified opinion is to be given? In what circumstances adverse opinion is to be given? Like I have given you an example. And where disclaimer of opinion is to be given. These are all dealt with in essay 705, which we shall be doing on Tuesday. Okay. So for the time being, you have to understand this much. So clear, guys, modified opinion and modified opinion. Now we come to auditor's report. Another important thing. Now, what are the contents of the auditor's report? Okay. So as I had told you that one of the objectives of essay 700 is one thing is to help the auditor in forming an opinion. It deals with the opinion formation by an auditor, and it also deals with the with such matters that what should be included in the auditor's report in respect of an audit which is carried out in accordance with the standards on auditing. So these are all the elements of the auditor's report. So what are these? These are all the elements of auditor's report. Like, so these are the names like title, addressee. So these all things are included in auditor's report in accordance in this sequence only. Okay, so these are standard, these have been standardized. So if you pick any audit report, you would find the same sequence. Okay, because why? Because essay 700 yes, it can be called so, but appropriate term is modified. Modified is of three types, like qualified, adverse, or disclaimer. So when we say unqualified, it means that it is unmodified. Okay, but more appropriate term is modified, but you can say generally, but for the purpose of exams, you have to write unmodified. Okay. Karthik, is that clear to you? So these are all the elements like title, addressee, auditor's opinion, basis for opinion, going concern matters, key audit matters, responsibility for financial statements, auditor's responsibility, and such things. Again, and signature, place, date. So these are all the elements of audit report. Now we shall be discussing one by one. All these matters, all these key elements of auditor's report, we shall be discussing one by one. What does it include? And we will also try to see how does an actual audit report look like. Okay, how does audit report for a company look like? Does it conform to these things which we are reading, or there is something else? So let us see. So audit report, first thing is it includes title. So the auditor's report shall have a title that it clearly indicates that it is a report of an independent auditor. Like at the beginning, there should be title like saying independent auditor's report. So what is the significance of this title? When it is written there in bold letters, independent auditor's report, what does this show? What does this convey? This conveys that this is a report of an independent person. To the third, it conveys that it is a report of an independent person who has carried out audit of the financial statements of the entity independently, in accordance with the ethical requirements, in accordance with the standards on auditing. Okay. Address C. Now second thing is, कोई भी रिपोर्ट शुरू होने से पहले शुरू होती है तो उसको क्या किया जाता है? एड्रेस किया जाता है. किसको रिपोर्ट दी जा रही है? Address C means to whom the report is given. So obviously the report is given to the persons who have appointed you. Okay, who have appointed an auditor. So without seeing to your module, yes guys, tell me, in case of company, who appoints auditor at AGM? You have just read the chapter on company audit, chapter number 10. So who appoints auditors at the AGM? Tell me. In accordance with the provisions of Companies Act, who appoints auditor of a company at annual general meeting? Yes. Only two answers. Moduri and Manisha. What about others? ये कंपनी ऑडिट पढ़ा है, भूल गए अभी, या कुछ समझा नहीं, या भी रिवाइज नहीं किया? Yes, what about others? I am talking about AGM, annual general meeting of the company. स्टूडेंट सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन था, आप क्यों उसको टेक्निकल बना रहे हो? दर्शन, आप CAG पे पहुंच गए. मैं जनरल कंपनी की बात कर रहा हूं, शेयर होल्डर्स, मेंबर्स. ओके, सो द report is addressed to the members of the company, to the shareholders who have appointed. Okay. And then it contains what? Auditor's opinion. So the first section of the auditor's report shall include the auditor's opinion, and it shall have the heading opinion. क्या होगी? Opinion. So what should opinion include? Yes, members or shareholders, Shivangini? Members or shareholders. It can be written to the members of the company, it can be written to the shareholders of the company. So the opinion section of the auditor's report, what it shall include? What it shall include? Yes, guys, it shall include these things. These are compulsory things, guys. Now identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. जिस कंपनी का ऑडिट आपने किया है उसका नाम, तभी तो पता चलेगा. Like opinion would start like that. We have audited the financial statements of, say, XYZ Limited. Okay. So identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. उस एंटिटी का, उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम या उसका guys, you are able to see the module? Module is clear, guys? Drop a mail, guys. That module is visible to you. State that financial statements have been audited. Specifically state that financial statements have been audited. Like it begins with the line, we have audited financial statements. So here the auditor is making a specific statement, specific assertion that he has audited the financial statements. Number 3, identify the title of each statement comprising the financial statements. What does this mean? Identify the title of each statement comprising the financial statements. Now, you have to separately state the title. Like balance sheet, you have to write separately statement of profit and loss, statement of cash flows. You have to identify these, that these are the financial statements which I have audited. Okay, so you would write, we have audited financial statements of so and so limited or private limited or whatever the name of the organization is, consisting of, comprising balance sheet, okay, statement of profit and loss, okay, cash flow and notes, etc. All these things you have to identify the title of each statement. These are not general requirements, guys. These are specific requirements given in SA 700. Okay. Refer to notes. This I have told you. Also, reference to notes is also necessary because these are also part of financial statements, very much part, and a summary of significant accounting policies containing adequate disclosures about the financial policies followed by the company or the entity. Okay. Specify the date or period covered by each financial statement. You have to also specify the date. Say the financial statement is ending on, say 31st March, year this 2023, or say the profit and loss account for the period ending on this, and like that. Okay. So you have to identify the financial statements, each financial statement, state that we have audited, identify the name of the company, and also refer to the period, dates or period. Okay. So when an auditor, now we come to, firstly we are dealing with unmodified opinion. Now when the auditor gives an unmodified opinion, okay, so he can state either of these two lines, any one of these. Any one of these. These both convey the same meaning. These both convey the same meaning. Okay. So either he can write that in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects. Bold words में इसको ध्यान से याद रखिए. Present fairly. It means fair representation है. Present fairly in all material respect. Both terms are important. Okay. Or in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. So in accordance with SA 700, if either of these two lines are used, these both convey the same meaning. This means that the auditor has given an unmodified opinion. When we say that financial statements reflected true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company, it means that I am giving an unmodified opinion. If I say that financial statements of the company have been present fairly in all material respects in accordance with the applicable reporting framework, then also I am expressing an unmodified opinion. Both of these phrases used, lines used, convey the same meaning as per SC 700. Okay. Now, Bhumika You are saying, please explain last point again. Which last point you are saying, Bhumika? Which last point you are saying, Bhumika? Tell me. Yes, Bhumika, which last point you are saying? Yes, I am waiting for you, yes, Bhumika, so that we can proceed further. Drop your mail. Which last point is not clear to you? Blank in that is some more general, some more lines are there. So what is written here is important things which show that the opinion is unmodified. There is something more in it. So I'll show you. I'll try to show you audit report of a company. So you would be able to understand better. So Bhumika, auditor's opinion you are saying. So you want me to explain to you modified and unmodified opinion again? Yes, Bhumika. You want me to explain modified and unmodified opinion again, or is something else? Or you want me to explain the opinion section? What do you want, Bhumika? You want me to explain, to re-explain modified and unmodified opinion again, or you want me to explain opinion section of auditor's report, the page which is visible right now on your screen? Yes, Bhumika, be quick a little more. Yes, Bhumika, tell me, everybody is stuck up with you. What do you want? Modified or unmodified opinion again, or opinion section? Yes. You are saying specify date or period of financial statements. So specify date means the balance sheet relates to which date? Say if the balance sheet is prepared on 31st, then I would write we have audited financial statements of XYZ Limited as on 31st March 2023. So this is the meaning of the date. Or the period means it relates to profit or loss. That that profit and loss for the period ending, because it relates to for a period. Profit is not for a is not on a date, it is for the whole year, for the whole period. Okay, Bhumika, is that clear? So when the auditor expresses an unmodified opinion, it is not appropriate to use phrases with the foregoing explanation subject to. Say when I am giving an unmodified opinion, I shall not use the words subject to this, subject to that. Okay, I would not put conditions, because this would lead to confusion in the mind of users, or this would lead to weakening of my opinion, or some users may take it as a modification of opinion. They may assume that the auditor is giving his opinion again subject to some conditions. He is using such terms. So these type of terms are best to be avoided. These are not to be used when auditor gives a clean opinion, when he gives an unmodified opinion. Okay. Like this is the language you would use when you are giving an opinion. We have audited the financial. Here the auditor is saying, expressly saying that he has audited. The financial statement of this is the name of the company. So the name is identified. He is saying that we have audited. Okay. Yes, we'll take break after some time. Which comprise the balance sheet as at 31st March. So he has identified. Balance sheet date is also identified. Statement of profit and loss account. Okay. And notes to financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. And what is unmodified opinion? In our opinion, to best of information and explanation given to us, aforesaid financial statements give the information given by the act in the manner so required and give a true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principles generally accepted in India of the state of affairs as on which date and profit and loss for year ending on that date. Here it would be written, there is profit, you have to write profit. If you have, if there is loss, you have to state loss. Okay. So clear, guys? Opinion section. There is another para which relates to basis for opinion. Now, say in the above, you have given unmodified opinion. So now you have also to provide a basis for opinion in the para which follows opinion. Okay, first would come title and then come addressee. Okay, then comes the opinion and below the opinion comes the basis for opinion. Okay, so how did you arrive? Basis for opinion means how did you arrive at your unmodified opinion? So obviously, if you are giving unmodified opinion, you would state that audit was conducted in accordance with essays. Okay, you would also say that also state about the auditor's responsibility, that these are my responsibilities. I am referring to that section. Okay, you would also state that I am independent of the company and perform the audit in an ethical manner. All ethical have been fulfilled. And I would also explicitly state that sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been obtained by me, which provides a basis for my opinion. Okay, so obviously the opinion para has to be followed with basis for opinion para, that how you have arrived. Similarly, when the auditor say he gives a qualified opinion, so then he has also to give reason for the qualified opinion. So here the heading would change. It would become as basis for qualified opinion. Okay, and the opinion heading would change. It would be read as qualified opinion. Okay, so these things we would be covering when we would be doing essay 7 modification of opinion. Okay, guys. So is that clear to you guys? First 4 points: title, second addressee, third opinion, fourth basis for opinion. And in the same sequence has to be followed also. Okay, so many of you are getting impatient for a break. Manisha is also getting impatient. So there is a break for 10 minutes, guys. See you after 10 minutes. So break for 10 minutes. Yes, welcome back, guys. So, guys, the module is visible to you, or is it blurred? Tell me the module is visible to you. So we have already done 4 points of elements of audit report as per SA 400. Now we come to 5th point that relates to going concern. Now, students, you remember SA 570? You remember SA 570? Anybody of you remember SA 570, guys? So I think you have read it in your chapter 3. It should be in chapter 3 on audit evidence. So you remember anything about it, guys? Yes, was it there in chapter 3, SA 570? Yes, students, you remember anything about going concern? So going concern, guys, you would do well to understand that financial statements of a company are or for that matter any organizations are prepared in accordance with the going concern assumption. So what is the going concern assumption? It is the fundamental accounting assumption. So what is the going concern assumption? Going concern assumption simply means that the entity will continue its operations in foreseeable future. Okay, and it doesn't have any intention to materially cut down scale of its operations or to close down its operations or to cease operations. Okay, so the basic crux on which the financial statements of an organization are standing is that the assets which are shown on the financial statements in the asset sides, these are realizable. Say if they are debtors outstanding, then users presume that these debtors are realizable. Or okay, or say stock is there, then it is presumed that stock is held for sale, that that sale would take place, it would be converted into debtors, and again cash would be realized from those debtors. Funds would be realized from those debtors. And when there are balance sheet, when there are liabilities in balance sheet, we mean liabilities are to be discharged, these are to be paid. Okay. So the auditor is always concerned with this fact that the organization would continue as a going concern, that it would be able to realize its assets and discharge its liabilities in foreseeable future. Okay, but it may sometime happens that that there are some indicators that there is some uncertainty regarding the conditions which may cast a significant doubt on the ability of the concern to continue as a going concern. Okay, something has happened or there are some indicators to indicate that there is material uncertainty that whether this thing would happen or not happen. If that happens, then the concern will continue. And if that does not materialize, then business may have to be shut down. Say, for example, if a company is availing some credit facility from a bank, okay, and there is still some negotiation going on between the bank and the company, and the bank is thinking, is in two minds whether to extend the company's credit facilities or not. Now, say if the bank does not extend the credit facilities to the company, then there would be a serious problem of finances with the company. It may not be able to discharge its liabilities. Okay, it may not say be able to meet its expenses, to pay salaries, to pay wages, to bear the employee cost, and because it is not having so much of the capital itself, so it is dependent upon the bank finances for its day-to-day working capital. Okay, we are taking a hypothetical example. Okay, so what would the auditor do in such a situation? Now the company says, no, we will continue in foreseeable future. We are a going concern. But the auditor thinks that there is a material uncertainty, which has cast a doubt on the ability of the concern to continue as a going concern, because they have not been able to renegotiate their loans with the bank. The bankers have not assumed that bankers have not refused, but they have not given their consent also. Okay, then what would happen in such a case? For the point of view, from the point of view of an auditor, from the perspective of an auditor, a material uncertainty exists, which may cause a significant doubt on the ability of the company, on the ability of the concern to continue as a going concern. Okay, so in such cases where a material uncertainty exists, so auditor shall give an heading material uncertainty regarding going concern in accordance with SA 570, just below the basis for opinion. Okay. Okay. Clear? So after that comes key audit matters. So what are key audit matters? So these we shall be discussing in greater detail in SA 701. Broad meaning, I told you at the beginning that these are the significant matters which have been identified by the auditor during the course of his audit from the current year's matters. Okay, so the auditor will communicate key audit matters. If some matters have identified by the auditor during the year as key audit matters, then the auditor would communicate the same to the same in the auditor's report. And guys, you have to remember that in case of listed companies, in case of audit of listed companies, communication of key audit matters is mandatory. Communication of key audit matters is mandatory by the auditor. Okay. In other cases, it is not mandatory. However, if the auditor wants, he may communicate the key audit matters. If he chooses to do so, then he may communicate the key audit matters. But once he has chosen to do so, then SA 70 shall apply. Then he would communicate these key audit matters in accordance with the requirements of SA 701. Okay. So key audit matters, basic meaning you understand, and you have to remember that key audit matters are compulsory to be stated in the audit report, to be communicated in accordance with SA 701 for listed companies. Okay, and for others it is not mandatory, but auditor may choose to do so, or if it is required by law, then it would be required to be compulsorily required to be stated. Either law requires that, or voluntarily he chooses to disclose key audit matters. Okay. Yes, Himanshu, you are saying how will auditor choose what kind of a matter is a key audit matter? Now it depends upon the professional judgment of the auditor. Now he has audited the whole financial statements, performed the procedures, obtained audit evidence, evaluated it. Okay, everything he has done. Now he knows that what are some important matters which are affecting these financial statements. Okay, and and how he was able to satisfy himself with respect to those audit matters. Okay, so another thing you have to remember, Himanshu, that key audit matters is not a substitute for modification of opinion. When the auditor has to modify his opinion, he would modify. It is not that he would state here in key audit matter section and he would escape from his responsibility in for modifying the opinion. No, key audit matters are not a substitute for modification of opinion. Say like I have given you example of revenue recognition earlier. Say the company's customers, sales are of a company assume are totally based upon contracts. Okay, take an example. Sales of a company are totally based upon contracts with some big customers. Okay, and what are the terms and conditions of these contracts? There are a lot of provisions, and these are quite say voluminous contracts. Okay, what are the responsibilities of the company and that customer? These are defined. What if the company say when the property in the goods passes to the customer is also specified in those contracts. Okay, when all the terms and conditions, when payment is to be received, and say if the goods are not up to a certain quality mark, then so much of payment will be deducted. So all these things relate to revenue recognition. Okay. So the auditor may happen to identify this as a key audit matter. Or another example could be, say the company's operations are very much automated and dependent upon IT systems. So the auditor is of the view that this is a misstatement prone area, and he has applied all his audit procedures in these areas to verify that controls are working properly, that that all the actions have been taken in accordance with the systems and procedures laid down by the management. Okay, so he would identify it as a key audit matter and state how I addressed it. Okay, it is not that the matter in respect of which modification of opinion he would state it as key audit matter. It is not like that. When he has to modify his opinion, then he would modify his opinion. His responsibility does not end by stating it as key audit matter. Okay. So is it clear to you, Himanshu? Yes, Himanshu. Any matter can be key audit matter. It is not that there is a certain list, but there is what does SA 701 state? It only defines key audit matters. It defines those matters which are significant and which relate to current period. Okay, and these have been discussed with the management during the course of audit. Okay. So, Darshan, these have to be given compulsorily. Auditor would have to be, it is mandatory for listed companies. Auditor cannot skip this requirement for listed companies. He would have to identify. Okay. Clear? So now, then responsibilities for financial statements. So in another element in financial statements is responsibility of financial statements. So the auditor report shall also include a section with the heading responsibilities of management for the financial statements. कि मैनेजमेंट की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज थी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स के बारे में. ओके तो दो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज जो इस सेक्शन में ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में विच आर कंपल्सरी टू बी स्टेटेड, दीज आर नंबर 1 is the responsibility relating to preparation and presentation of financial statements and internal controls which are necessary for preparation of financial statement. Now this thing you have been reading out from the very beginning, from the very first chapter. Okay. Yes, Swati. And second thing is assessment of the company or entity to continue as a going concern. Say in case of a going concern, first assessment has to be made by management. Now the management has to make first assessment that whether the company would continue as a going concern. It is only upon the assessment made by the management that auditor evaluates assessment of the management, that whether management's assessment of the ability to continue as a going concern is appropriate or not. Okay. So this section also states that is assessed its life, assess the company's ability to continue as a going concern, and it has to specifically state that use of going concern basis of accounting is appropriate, and it is also disclosing matters relating to going concern. If there are any issues, disclosures are required to be made. If there are any indicators of uncertainty which cast a significant doubt, now all these disclosure have to be reported. So therefore, what is the purpose of this para? Purpose of this para is that the management owns. So SA 700, what it does, it prompts the management to own that we have done these things. That number 1, we have prepared and presented the financial statements. We are responsible for internal controls with regards to preparation and presentation of financial statements, and we have assessed our company's ability to continue as a going concern and have made appropriate disclosures in this regard. Okay, so in auditor's report, this is a para relating to responsibilities of management for financial statements. Responsibilities of auditor para comes after that. Okay. So is that clear, guys? Yes. So both these points I have discussed in detail. Preparing the financial statements and assessing the entity's ability to continue as a going concern. So these are some, say, where management की जगह those charged with governance use होगा word, अगर if management and those charged with governance are separate, like I've told you, say in listed companies, there is separate body for oversight like audit committee. Okay, after that comes auditor's responsibility. Now these are also to be specifically stated. JJ responsibility, that these are to be specifically stated in this para. Auditor's responsibilities for audit of financial statements. These are to be specifically stated in the auditor's report in this para. Now, what are those? It should give objectives of auditor. That objective of auditor is to obtain a reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatements. And again make it clear that reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance but not absolute assurance. It is not a guarantee. Again, chapter 1. And that misstatements can arise from fraud or errors. Now here you should make clear to the users, so that this basically relates to scope of audit, so that anybody who is reading the audit report, he is clear about the scope of audit, that the statements he is relying upon, these are only giving him a reasonable assurance. And what is reasonable assurance? As a layman, he is also going to understand, because meaning of reasonable assurance is also provided. Okay. So again, the same things which I have told you, that the objectives of auditor are to obtain reasonable assurance, okay, about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud and error. Issue an auditor report that includes auditor opinion, ये भी auditor का objective है, basic objective. And all these 2 points I have already discussed. And then it shall also explain auditor's responsibilities relating to audit of financial statements in the following manner. State that auditor exercises all the things, all the summary of that thing which you have read up till now. This he has to state, that the auditor exercises professional judgment and maintains professional skepticism throughout the audit. And what are his responsibilities? These responsibilities are specifically provided to be stated, that to identify and assess risk of material misstatement, okay, in accordance with SA 315, and that risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than one resulting from error. These all things you have read in your chapter on fraud, SA 240, SA 315. क्या कुछ स्टूडेंट्स माइंड में कुछ पिक्चर चल रही है, कुछ याद आ रहा है? SA 315, 240 फैमिलियर चीजें याद आ रही हैं? To obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to audit, to design audit procedures, to evaluate appropriateness of accounting policies and accounting estimates. Very important. So accounting policies or accounting estimates, whether accounting policies have been consistently applied, whether accounting estimates, because estimates involve judgment. Estimates involve judgment, and there is a possibility of bias in estimates. There is a possibility of bias in accounting estimates. Okay, so therefore there is a specific statement from the auditor in this respect. Okay. And to conclude on the appropriateness of management use of going concern, that whether the going concern assumption followed by management is appropriate or not. Okay, they would have to state that this is their responsibility. Then if some material uncertainty exists, then it is also their responsibility to state so. Okay. And the financial statements are prepared in accordance with fair representation framework, to state that financial statements represent the underlying transactions in a manner that achieves fair representation. कि fair representation हो रहा है. Okay. Or say when the auditor relies upon the work of another auditor, if there is some subsidiary company, okay, or if there are branches of the company. So the auditor has relied upon the audit report of branch auditors, then he has also to specifically state that. Okay. So all these things you have to remember, all these specific responsibility points. All these specific, वहां पे आपको कोई स्टूडेंट्स एग्जाम में कोई 15 नंबर का क्वेश्चन कोई आपको ऐसे नहीं लिखना है. वहां पे स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट पूछा जाएगा, 2 नंबर का, 3 नंबर का, 4 नंबर का। ओके, and this has also to be stated that the auditor has communicated during the course of audit. You know that whatever matters come to his light during the course of audit, the auditor communicates these matters with those charged with governance, with the management, so that appropriate action can be taken by those people who are responsible for running the affairs of the company. Okay. And to state that in case of listed entities, it is compulsory for the auditors to state in the audit report itself that they have complied with all the ethical requirements and independence. So again, this is very important point. It is mandatory in audit reports of listed companies. Audit report of listed companies. Why it is mandatory? Because in listed companies, public interest is involved. कहीं दुनिया पब्लिक है, शेयर होल्डर लाखों लाखों 10 लाख 20 लाख करोड़ शेयर होल्डर हो सकते हैं किसी कंपनी के. ओके, and key audit matters. This is also compulsory as per SA 701 in audit of listed companies. Clear, guys? So location of description of auditor's responsibility. So students, ये auditor responsibility, these can either be given within the report, within the body of auditor's report. These can be given straight away, like we are reading a report, it can be given in the point form, or it can be given in appendix, because these are run into 2-3 pages, so quite lengthy. So these can be given in appendix by stating in the main report that these are given in annexure, in an appendix to the report, and stating that appendix number is so much. Okay, or if law permits you to put it on the to make it a reference to the website of some government authority or regulatory authority, or if the law permits so, then you can make reference to that website also. Okay. And these were the responsibilities relating to standards on auditing. Say under some specific laws, say under Companies Act, the auditor has to report on certain specific matters. Like he has to report on matters under section 143 subsection 3, specific matters which he has to report. He has to report under Caro 2020 on specific matters. You have just finished reading about Caro 2020 in your chapter on company audit. There are number of clauses on which auditor has to report. So these are to be reported under a separate title, report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Okay, so as to distinguish these from responsibilities under essays, under standards on auditing, and responsibilities which are there in law or some regulatory direction. Okay, so guys, you remember 143 subsection 3 Caro 2020 याद है या भूल गए? अभी अभी किया आप लोगों ने? So I hope you remember all the clauses, or you would be in the process of remembering. Okay, then signatures. Then there are signatures. Signatures of the auditor. He has to ultimately sign the report. Say when I am signing in personal capacity, Mr. X is there, then he would sign as Mr. X. If the auditor is firm, then it would be signed in the name of firm as well as partner of the firm. Say Mr. X is partner of XYZ and company, So the report would be signed in name of for XYZ and company, chartered accountants. Okay, X partner. Clear? Place of signature, place is also to be mentioned. Now the report is signed at, so place is usually the place where the audit report is signed. Now where audit report is going to be signed, it is a place of the chartered accountant's office. Okay, because he would be signing the report at his place. And date of auditor's report, date. Now date is very important. Why date is important? Can you tell me any reason? Anybody? Can you tell what is the importance of date of auditor's report? Without going through module, just simple your own language, your student language, your broken language. I want that language. What is why the date in auditor's report is important? What is the significance of date of auditor's report? What does this denote? 3-4 points can be there. So just try to write any one point. Yes, guys, come on. Why dating the audit report is important? So I am auditor of a company. I am signing a audit report, say today on 27th May. Now, what is the significance of 27th May in the audit report? Can you tell? Write in your broken language, guys. Yes, Darshan, Bhumika, perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. This is the one reason. Events that user understands that the auditor has considered the events up to the date of signing of his report. Okay. Yes. And another thing, as Manisha, you are writing that when you put a date, then it is you on it. Obviously, you are owning it. And it also means that all the audit evidence has been received by you before that date. Okay. Obviously, you cannot receive audit of evidence after issue of your audit report. Obviously, it can't be the case. Okay. So this indicates that all the financial statements that comprise the financial statements, including related notes, have been prepared. And or एक और बात, that management has also taken responsibility for those financial statements. Okay, पहले क्योंकि management has prepared, they have included all estimates, and after that auditors have signed. And subsequent events, वो तो है ही. This you have know, this you already know. So what is the essay number of subsequent events, guys? Do you remember? कौन सा स्टैंडर्ड है subsequent events का? थोड़ा पीछे जाओ चैप्टर 3 पे. कौन सा स्टैंडर्ड है? essay 560. Okay. And another thing is, after signing, the auditor has to generate a UDIN. It is a new requirement since last about 3 years. So UDIN is unique document identification number. So earlier there were complaints that some people are some unscrupulous persons are faking signatures of CAs. So now there is a compulsory requirement to generate a UDN, a unique number. So which only a chartered accountant who is signing, only he can generate, because for generating that number, an OTP is sent to his mobile and also on his mail. Okay, so he can access that OTP and only then he can generate the number. There is a dedicated website of ICI in this regard, where members have to go and they have to generate that UDA number, and this UDA number has to be put in writing at the end of the report that this is the UDA number. Okay. So every time an auditor conducts an audit or he gives a certificate, okay, UDA number has to be generated. So remember, it is unique document identification number. Okay. So accordingly, an auditor is required to mention the UDN with respect to each report being signed by him. It is also mandatory in case of certificates, along with his membership number while signing an audit report. Okay, so the UDA number looks like this. Like this is the UDA number. It is a, say, example. It looks like this. It is a alphanumeric UDA number which is generated by the system, which is system generated. Okay. Yes, UDN is compulsory, Tarun. UDN is compulsory. It is compulsory for the auditor to state UDN number, because all users nowadays, they are insisting UDIN. Say bankers, tax authorities, they are insisting UDN. Show me UDN which the auditor has written. This UDN number, this can be verified on the portal also. Third parties can verify that whether it is genuine or fake. Okay. So guys, let us do some questions. Are you ready? Yes. Question number 1. Yes, what is the answer? Modified opinion is expressed by auditor only when it is concluded based on audit evidence obtained that financial statements are not free from material misstatement. Whether it is correct or incorrect. Yes, guys, you are able to see the screen. Also write question number when you are saying correct or incorrect. Modified opinion is expressed by audit only when it is concluded based on audit evidence that financial statements as a whole are not free from material misstatements. Only Manisha. Yes, Himanshu has also given. Guduri, Bhumika, Swati. Now, guys, I have already, now many of you were sending mails during the course of this chapter, during our discussion, that very easy, sir, understood, very easy. Now all of you are giving wrong answers. Many of you are giving wrong answers. तो स्टूडेंट्स, ऑडिटिंग को कभी हल्के में मत लेना, अपना पूरा डिवोशन करना, नहीं तो पेपर में आपको मेरी बात याद आएगी, फिर यू विल रिमेम्बर मी. ओके, सो all of those persons who are writing it is correct. सभी वो महानुभाव जो लिख रहे हैं ये ठीक है, बताइए ठीक कैसे? सिर्फ जब when auditor concludes on the basis of audit evidence that he has got the evidence, he concludes that financial statements are not free from material misstatements. Only then modified opinion is given. Say when he is not able to obtain audit evidence, then also modified opinion is given. So this statement is false. It is not the only condition. Modified opinion can also be there when there is a disclaimer, when the auditor has not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So Singh, Rajiv Kumar and Himanshu Pathak, they have given the correct answer. So what about you others, guys? Many of you are writing correctly. Siddhi Bhosle, Ram Nivas, what are you doing? Manisha has also given incorrect. No, she is writing about question number 2. Sorry. Okay, guys. So understood. So the point is, statement states modified opinion is expressed by auditor only when. It is not the case. It is not the only. Modified opinion is also expressed by the auditor when it is concluded that he has not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to conclude that financial statements are free misstatements. Okay. So yes, Bhumika, you are right. It is correct only partly. So you have to state it is incorrect. Only one part of it is correct. So number 2, general purpose framework refers to a framework which acknowledges need for departure from requirements of reporting framework to achieve fair representation. So what is purpose framework? Whether this is the meaning of general purpose framework or something else. It states that general purpose framework goes beyond the compliance needs. It goes beyond the compliance requirements to achieve fair representation. No, it is the definition of fair representation framework. So this is also false, incorrect. General purpose framework refers to framework which caters to the financial information needs of variety of users. Fair और compliance की तो उसमें बात ही नहीं आ रही. General purpose may be framework, may be a compliance framework or a fair representation framework. Okay. So now we come to number 3. The responsibility of management for financial statements in auditor's report. वो कह रहा है कि जो auditor report में responsibility of management का पैरा है, that includes responsibility for assessing entities' ability to continue as a going concern. Whether management has to state also specifically that we have assessed our entity's ability to continue as a going concern. Whether it is required to be stated in the para on the management's responsibilities. Question number 3. Yes, this you have answered correctly. This is correct. Because SA 700 requires it to state so. Okay. Number 4. Auditors can describe key audit matters only in case of listed companies in auditor's report. Now again, guys, same jaldi ki problem. Haste makes waste. Tarun, tell me how you are writing it is correct. Fourth question, you are saying it is correct. Auditor can describe key audit matters only in case of listed companies. Listed company के case में mandatory है. These are compulsory required to be stated. But in other cases also the auditor can describe key audit matters if he chooses to do so. I had told you, but you are not listening. तो ये तो होगा ही. Darshan, you have stated it correctly. Okay. Now we come to number 5. Where a firm is appointed as auditor, audit report is signed in personal name of auditor and name of audit firm. Where firm is appointed as auditor, the audit report is signed in personal name of auditor and in name of audit firm. Whether it is correct or incorrect. Yes, this is correct. Now Swati, Himanshu, you all of you are saying it is correct. Naveen, Navinathan, Darshan, C. This is correct. So as I just shown you that when a firm is appointed as an auditor, so the report is signed in the name of personal name and in the name of the firm also. Okay. So guys, would you like to see audit report of a company? So how does it look like? So the font is a little bit small, guys. You are able to see? You are able to see, guys? Because if I enlarge it more, you would not be able to see the whole page. Just wait for a minute, guys. So you are able to see the report, guys? Yes. So what it is? Title. What it is? Title. Independent Auditor's Report. To the name of the company, to the members of so and so. Then what we had seen, opinion. Okay. So we have audited the financial statements of so and so, which includes balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, statement of other comprehensive income, cash flow, statement of changes in equity, all these things. Okay. And after opinion, there is basis for opinion. Okay, I'm just making you familiar with the report. Just have a glance. You can check the report, audit report from website of any of the company basis, and then there is emphasis of matter, key audit matters. So key audit matters. So below are described key audit matters. Okay, 3-4 key audit matters. Then responsibility of management. So all those things. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Then there is signing. Then there is place, date, UDA number. All these things, and there are so many workings. This is Caro report, Caro 2020 report. Okay. So guys, the purpose was just to make you familiarize that practically also all these reports are prepared in accordance with the requirements of SA 700. Okay, you can very well yourself go to the website of company and see the auditor's report in the annual reports. Okay. So guys, have you been able to understand the chapter, and what is your general understanding of the auditing till now? Are you facing any practical difficulties in studying, or in forming answers, or in understanding the concepts? Yes, guys, quickly. Yes, quickly, guys. Any specific difficulty or lack of understanding or lack of interest? Any type of problem being faced by you? Have you gone through the previous year question papers? Have you tried to solve those question papers? Have you tried to solve MCQs from case scenario booklet which is on the website? Yes, guys, tell me. Now, secretarial auditor's report, Darshan, it is to be given by company secretary in accordance with the Companies Act 2013. Descriptive questions, Karthik, you have to be specific. Like I have been saying, for 3-4 marks question, the descriptive question would be only for 3 marks or 4 marks. So what you can write maximum 2 paras or 3 paras. For 3 mark question, you can write 2 paras, or 4 mark question, you can write 3-4 paras, max 1 page. So you have not to write a story. You have to give specific answer with reference to standard on auditing, or with reference to what is being asked for. Okay. So Imanshu, you are saying difficulty in remembering. You have to practice. So without practice, you would not be able to achieve anything, because the course is so large, so voluminous. Then when you will read it for the first time, you would be only able to get a feeling of familiarization. So then it has to be followed up with remembering, actual process of remembering, where you have to link up the things and remember the things. That is very, very important. Okay. So guys, you note down any practical difficulties which you are facing for this particular paper, and specific difficulties. These can be taken up even after completion of all these remaining 2-3 chapters. Okay, so we'll be meeting again on Tuesday, guys, at 6 p.m. So good night till then. Good night. Thank you guys. Good night.